President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday held a call in order to, in Trump's hopes, break through the deadlock that has been the Ukraine war peace talks.
We just spent 2.5 hours talking to Vladimir Putin, and I think some progress has been made.
As of this moment, it looks like we are absolutely no closer to a ceasefire. In fact, it almost feels like we're in the exact same place. You have President Trump saying, now the Russians and Ukrainians are going to have direct peace talks. That already started. So Trump is basically announcing something that is already underway. And even Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky signaled, fine, we can do this anywhere, whether it's the Vatican, Switzerland, elsewhere, which indicates the US might have less of a role going forward, to the point that even Zelensky and European leaders were saying it would be good if the US stayed in this process. But in a surprise, Trump called Zelensky first. And as our sources told us, it was to sort of coordinate with Zelensky. He asked, what do you want me to talk to Putin about? And Zelensky said, now that you're asking, here are a couple of things. One, you should get him to sign the 30-day ceasefire. Two, you should tell him that there will be no decisions about Ukraine without Ukraine. And he was really urging Trump to impose sanctions.
Дуже його попросив подумати про це і застосувати, якщо Росія не буде підтримувати припинення війни і не захоче закінчити цю війну.
Right now, he clearly doesn't feel like it could help. I mean, just on the call on Monday, here he was saying, will you agree to a ceasefire? The Ukrainians have. Will you make a deal? And Putin says, well, I'm happy to keep talking. And at that moment, Trump could have gone, you're not serious. Here comes some sanctions. And instead, he's going to let this process play out.
Do you have a red line in your head of what would cause you to back away? And
Yeah, in my head, but not something I'm going to announce. But yeah, definitely in my head I do, yeah.
Exactly would that look
Because
like?
this isn't our war. This is not my war. Yeah, I would say I do have a certain line, but I don't want to say what that line is because I think it makes the negotiation even more difficult than it is.
Well, we'll be looking for three things going forward. One is there going to be an actual date set for the Russians and Ukrainians to chat? Two, where is it going to take place? And point 2.5, is the US showing up? And then 3 is, who's each side sending? I mean, Zelensky has said he'd talk to Putin. Putin so far does not want to talk to Zelensky. So is it at that level, or are we going to be doing very technical talks at the lower levels? So the expectations, if it's at the technical level, is that this will really go nowhere and the Russians would probably be stalling for time. So you've heard Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance all say in different ways, look, we need to see progress. And if this isn't moving, we're going to abandon the process. Now, what does that mean in practice? Not exactly sure. But if you're in Ukraine, what that likely means is you're not going to get more weapons from the United States. So this is a very tense moment for Ukraine. There was a lot of hope for Ukraine that Monday's calls would lead to some progress. They didn't. And if you're looking at this from the outside, and how we all expect this to go, that's worse news for Ukraine and pretty decent news for Russia.